My name is Matt Kalinsky. I'm owner and CEO of USA Staffing Services. And if you're joining us live today, I'm on YouTube Live and Facebook Live for the USA Staffing company pages. Please follow us for more information or videos like this. Today, I'm going to talk specifically about this desire to pivot or necessity to pivot. And so if you're a business owner, if you're specifically a staffing business owner, I'm going to talk about the three main areas that you need to evaluate today to determine if and when you need to pivot and what you need to look for during that pivot. A lot of articles out there today are talking about pivoting to survive, pivoting this and pivoting that. And it's overwhelming for a lot of business owners, especially for direct hire recruiters or staffing firms who've been doing the same thing for a couple years or even 10 or 20 years. And so I'm going to break it down, everything that I know about running a business, but specifically running staffing and recruiting businesses, talk specifically about what you need to be thinking about for the next 30, 60, 90-day plans. And it'll help you kind of determine if you need to pivot. And if you are going to pivot, try not to pivot in the wrong direction. I'm going to give you a few tips on that. So I'm going to start with the big topic items. And so when it comes to pivoting, there's three main things that you need to think about. So the first one is your actual business. Are you a direct hire firm specifically in finance? Are you a staffing firm directly with light industrial? So talk about the big business picture overall and what is your core niche or your specialty in that case? And you want to be careful from pivoting too far in either direction. I'll go through it in a little bit. The second thing is your customers. And what I mean by that is this is the time to pivot away from bad customers and pivot into good customers regarding payment terms, risk profiles, as well as how good are they to work with you and how are they not, providing you value. And then the third one is your candidates. And so I'm going to talk about each one of these and how pivots can occur and what you should think about when you're evaluating your plan for the next 30, 60, 90 days. So I'm going to start with the business as I mentioned. So a couple of pivots, to-dos and not to-dos. One is to really look at your business as an entity. You have people in your business. You have business kind of avenues of which you grow revenue. And so you really want to break down, know your numbers, know your P&L sheet, know your balance sheet. So you're going to pivot into learning your financials. You want to pivot into understanding your business, your divisions, your revenue, and really your departments in terms of what is bringing in revenue and what's not bringing in revenue. But then the second thing that you want to do is think about, okay, if you've always been in technology, you have a choice. You can stay in technology or you can branch into something else. But realize in staffing and recruiting, when you branch into a new sector, it's like starting from scratch. You're going to have to get all new customers, all new candidates, all new recruiters, and it's a whole new business model. And that's okay if you're ready, if you're prepared to start a new business. A lot of you guys out there are really just trying to pivot in order to regrow your revenue in your existing business. You can't go 12 months in an effort to start a new business without any cash flow. And so I'm going to challenge you, look at your current niche and offer better or revised services within your niche. So what does that mean? So if you were 100% direct hire placements and you were making 15, 20, 30 direct hire placements, a pivot could be offering temp to perm or contract assignments or project-based assignments. Another pivot could be consulting. You can actually add value to your customers in many ways without having to recreate the wheel. If you have 15 years experience in technology recruiting, you know more than most of your customers what it takes to hire, retain, and keep your candidates happy. And so use that to your advantage. You could consult with them, but you also can come up with these new challenges like probationary 90-day temp to hire. You can do contract or project basis as a way to keep your existing niche, keep your existing customers, but offer more services. And that way you don't have to wait 12 months to get new customers and new recruiters and whatnot. Another pivot that you want to make sure that you're doing when it comes to the business overall is look at your customers. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, pivot away from customers that are paying you outside of the normal payment terms. So for instance, if you have most of your customers paying on 30-day payment terms, and you have a customer that's paying on 60 or 75-day payment terms, there's a lot of stress. Your cash is tied up in those receivables. And so you really want to evaluate, is that customer worth extending terms and payment terms out 2 to 3 times longer than your normal customer. The other way to pivot away from is the customers who, those customers who you take a lot of your candidates, who take forever to make a decision, and then ultimately your candidate finds another job with another recruiter because you couldn't deliver an answer on your customer. We all have those customers. They bring so much stress and they take away from time to work with your customers that actually utilize you for what you are, which is a great recruiter source and candidate matching and services. And so really you want to pivot away from those bad customers, take a chance to look and cut away the customers that aren't providing extreme amount of value, but then also stick within your niche, keep those customers and really offer more services. The second thing I want to talk about is customers. I'm sorry, I already talked about customers. When it comes to the customers, that's where you really want to, talk about finding more customers with a similar profiles that you have success with. So if you like working with smaller customers, then go after and get more smaller customers. If you like the larger ones, then find those larger ones. Now is the time to really define your business, to pivot into something great, to pivot into a specific niche if that's what you're looking for. But really, you can't go the opposite direction. What I'm concerned about is a lot of the people I'm talking with now are pivoting into new sectors. They're like, oh, well, one hospital I know that I don't even have a connection with needs nurses. I don't even know anything about nurses, but I want to do nurse staffing. Or, hey, I don't have any knowledge in IT, but my friend's cousins has a connection with an IT company. I'm going to switch to IT recruiting. I'm really given some concerns about that. And I really want to let you know that is a very serious decision to make. And you have to be prepared to take it as if it's a brand new business. So be careful when it comes to pivoting too far from that standpoint. The last thing is candidates. And so you might have been, prior to COVID and the recession, you might have been, doing a really good job of recruiting existing working candidates who have a job and bring them to a new customer. And that's why you were charging 35% of your first year salary. And I think that what you have to do pivot now is that there's less people working. There's about 35 million people unemployed right now. And so the population pool of people applying are unemployed. So you have to pivot from that direction. The other thing is you want to express that you want to find them the best job to match. And so this might take 1 or 2 or 3 placements with that candidate, whether it's a temp to perm, a contract assignment, or even a perm placement that just has options. But you want to be more of a consultation approach to your candidates. There are a lot of great candidates who are unemployed. So you have to pivot away from assuming the fact that if they're unemployed, they're probably not a good worker. And so you want to pivot from those decision makings and pivot into the idea of building your resumes, building your candidate pool so that you can provide your customers with some great candidates in the near future. Pivoting is great. I'm a big proponent of pivoting. You just have to make sure you're pivoting in the right direction. Make sure that you don't skip a few steps and assume that you're going to just magically work. You want to take what you know and pivot from there. Taking these 3 stakeholders, part of your business, your business ownership structures, the goals, the customers, and the candidates, really make the best decision for you and your business. Thanks. If you want to follow me on YouTube and Facebook, please click subscribe. Otherwise, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.